Today, 16 October, is a sad day of remembrance. It is a day we reflect on the bravery of 5 international journalists murdered at Balibo in 1975 for doing their job. Australians Greg Shackleton and Tony Stewart, Britons Brian Peters and Malcolm Rennie, and New Zealander Gary Cunningham were young men in their 20s from television stations 7 and 9 in Australia. They were in Balibo to investigate reports Indonesian troops were making incursions across the border. They believed any invading forces would respect their independence as journalists, which is why they painted an Australian flag on the building today known as the Flag House. The video they took in Balibo and Maliana of Indonesian incursions and meetings with Timorese leaders calling for UN intervention was transported to Dili by a young Timorese journalist, José Ramos Horta, now president of our proudly independent nation. Days after their powerful reports screened on Australian televisions, they were murdered. The Australian, British and New Zealand governments accepted Indonesia's claims they died in crossfire. Their families were denied the truth for decades. We will never forget their courage and commitment to truth. They were foreigners in our land, and they were murdered trying to share the truth of our struggle. The last foreign journalist in Dili, another Australian, Roger East, was murdered at the Dili waterfront 7 weeks later, on the next day of the mass invasion, 7 December 1975. The heroism and journalistic commitment of the Balibo Five and Roger East inspired a new generation of journalists, determined to shine a light where there is darkness, expose injustice, and give a voice to the voiceless. I want to also honor the memory of Dutch journalist Sander Toens and Indonesian journalist Agus Mulyawan, murdered by militia in September 1999, and pay tribute to Australian journalist John Martinkus, who died in Melbourne on 14 September 2025, aged just 56. John was in occupied Timor-Leste in 1997 and became one of the loudest and most consistent voices reporting on the orchestrated escalating violence here as the Suharto's regime began to crumble. Last year, the President awarded John a well-earned Timor-Leste Honor Medal for his contribution to the benefit of the country, the Timorese, and humanity. Here in Timor-Leste, we know what it means to be silenced. For 24 years of occupation, our people lived under repression, our voices restricted, our dignity denied. Yet still, the truth made its way to the world. International journalists, activists, and allies brought our struggle to light, and their work gave strength to our movement. This 50th anniversary of the murder of the Balibo Five is an opportunity to reflect on their legacy and acknowledge the important work of the Balibo House Trust. The trust was established by families of the Balibo Five, with the support of the Victorian government in 2003, to preserve their memory and contribute to the local community. The trust restored the flag house, and it now houses the Balibo Community Learning Center and a dental clinic. It restored the 18th century Portuguese fort at Balibo and constructed high-quality visitor accommodation in the fort grounds. The restoration of the Balibo fort created income, employment, and training opportunities for the people of Balibo. Funds generated by the project support the charitable work of the Trust of the Balibo at the Balibo Community Learning Center, the Balibo Dental Clinic, and Balibo Five Kindergarten. By turning tragedy into opportunity and memory into action, the Trust honors the fallen journalists in the most meaningful way, by giving hope and dignity to the people for whom they gave their lives. We live today in an era of rapid change, where journalism faces new challenges. I want to commend the Press Council for its vital role in ensuring that journalism in Timor-Leste remains strong, ethical, and independent. To the journalists of our nation, know that your work is valid. Journalists from around the globe contributed to Timor-Leste's self-determination and independence, and Timorese journalists today contribute to our thriving democracy. It is not always easy, and it will not always make you popular, but driven, free media is at the core of a successful democracy. As Prime Minister, I reaffirm our government's commitment to protect press freedom, to uphold the independence of the media, and to ensure that no journalist will ever again face the fate suffered in Balibo simply for doing their duty. May they rest in peace, and may their example of journalistic integrity continue to inspire generations of journalists to come. Thank you.